Meh. That sound like Maverick?
Meh. He does do that a lot. Mav.
Oh,
How's his lip?
Good. I mean, it's still... You can tell there's something happened, but it's definitely not, like, anywhere close to how it was a week ago. But he played this past weekend and did good.
Did he wear his mask?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, but he's over it already.
He's over it?
Yeah. But we told him, too, because the tournament director actually reached out to us and asked if he could use the video from Game Changer to post, because he's been wanting to make that a requirement and coaches always complain about it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I told Mav, I'm like, well, soon probably every tournament is going to require it, so you're going to have to get used to wearing it.
Yeah.
Like, I know it sucks, but
yeah.
So right now we've just we have compromised on he has to wear it when the ball is pitched and when the ball is hit. If the ball doesn't come to him, he can throw it off like a catcher would take their mask off. Mm-hmm. He can take it off to then do whatever else he needs to do as far as covering a base or backing somebody up or whatever.
Yeah.
That way he's not like trying to run around and it's like in his way.
Baseball and softball injuries, man.
They don't happen often,
real.
But yeah.
Oh, but when they do,
yeah.
Whew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, golly. And we're in that season, so stay safe.
Yep. For the love of the game.
For the love of the game. America's best pastime. Isn't it favorite pastime?
Favorite pastime.
Yeah. I love baseball.
Who doesn't?
Everyone.
I mean, like, even if you don't like baseball, surely you like Cracker Jacks and beer.
Yeah.
Right? And peanuts.
Popcorn, hot dogs.
Ice cream.
Oh. You remember when the Lookouts used to give the ice cream?
And the little baby cups, yes.
The little helmets.
Heartbroken when they stopped doing that. They did it one weekend. They did them again, and that was it.
I love seeing at baseball games the beer in the shape of a baseball bat.
Mm-hmm.
Those are so cool.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Those are great.
I don't know why we got on, but
you know. That's what happens at the Expired Podcast.
Exactly. Well, thanks for listening to the Expired Podcast. Make sure you're following us. Leave a review. New audio. I think it sounds really good.
I do too. We need to know what you guys think, though, so we know if we need to keep troubleshooting or if maybe we finally got it figured out.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So this is a very interesting case because it was cold for 3 decades, which is always, like, super intriguing to me because so many people had to do their jobs right for this to come to fruition 30 years later.
Yeah.
So this woman's name is Pamela Rose Aldridge McCall. She kind of went by Rose, though. Like, Pamela was like her fancy
first name.
Yeah, but she mostly went by Rose. Rose was free-spirited. She was a hitchhiker who spent most of her time with truck drivers in the 1990s. Hitchhiking was huge then.
Big time, yes.
I never see hitchhikers anymore. Mm-mm. Like with the thumb.
No, I think mainly because they know nobody's going to pick them up.
Yeah. But she was a hitchhiker, loved it. She loved the energy she got from the open road. Seeing new places and new things and just she's free-spirited. She's a free-spirited girl.
The world was her home.
Yep. Originally, she was from Grand Rapids, Iowa. And she loved it when she found a trucker going south. She loved being down south. Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. She just loved the Southeast. In 1991, she was 32 years old and 24 weeks pregnant. Her body was found on Saturn Parkway at the off-ramp to Port Royal Road in Spring Hill, Tennessee. And it would take 30 days for the police to identify her body and 30 years to get justice.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, before we really get started, it took 30 days to identify the body because she was free-spirited and maybe there just weren't people around that, knew her. Okay.
Right.
So
and she was from Iowa. She wasn't from
wasn't
Tennessee,
from the area.
She was found, yeah.
So, a book called In the Name of Children by retired FBI agent Jeffrey Rennick, I think is how I've been saying it, was sitting on the desk of Melissa Wilson in the department's evidence technician manager in Spring Hill. The book is about cracking cold cases. Officer Ty Hadley saw the book, and he and Melissa started a conversation that would end up solving Spring Hill's coldest case. They started looking at Pamela McCall's case, and then they were in luck. Most departments clean house and get rid of old evidence, but luckily her evidence box was there and well preserved. Her pantyhose, clothing, and even her nail clippings had been sitting in a box from 1991 to 2019.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's insane. And I think it would be so cool to be Melissa, because she's the evidence technicians manager. Like, she's over all this evidence. And so whoever came before her obviously did a really good job. And that's just,
and then she maintained
it.
Yep.
And then was able to...
And that stuff is so important.
It's so important.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. And especially, like, I hate to be this way because you don't want to believe that this is how it works, but, like, for a case that's that cold where there's probably no one that's really bugging them about solving it, like, you would think that if other departments are getting rid of their stuff, that would have been what stuff they got rid of, after so long.
Yeah.
So,
good on them.
Good job,
Good on Spring Hill for keeping it together. So, DNA in the 90s, obviously, is nothing as compared to what we have in technology today. DNA from Pamela Rose and 2 other women from Wyoming were linked to one suspect. So 3 DNA hits from Pamela's belongings. 700 miles away from Spring Hill in Waterloo, Iowa, police arrested 58-year-old Clark Perry Baldwin for the 3 murders. Baldwin was a long-haul trucker. He traveled across all 48 states, Canada, and Mexico. He was arrested without incident on May 6th in his downtown Waterloo home after investigators last month linked his DNA with semen and other materials recovered from McCall and the 2 other victims in Wyoming from the 90s. Meanwhile, the same year, Baldwin was charged, the same year that he was, like, killing all these women, he was charged with the rape of a 21-year-old hitchhiker at gunpoint in Wheeler County, Texas. The woman told police that Baldwin had struck her in the head, bound her hands and mouth, and tried to choke her to death. The charges were dismissed after the state was unable to locate the victim. In 1997, Secret Service agents raided his apartment when he was living in Springfield, Missouri, after learning he was making counterfeit U.S. currency on a personal computer.
Wow.
That's crazy. He and 2 female associates were indicted on the counterfeit charges, and he was sentenced to 18 months in prison, and he was released in 99.
Holy cow. Yeah. So in April of 2020, investigators had Clark Baldwin on surveillance. They followed him for 10 days straight. One of the days he was being watched by police, he went to his local Walmart. Walmart always gets people in trouble, guys.
Walmart. Don't go to Walmart.
Or do, so you can get caught. He enjoyed an orange and a can of soda or Coke. Soda. That's so weird.
I
know. Which police collected for DNA. The DNA matched the semen found on Pamela and the 2 other women in Wyoming, one of which was also pregnant. The 2 unidentified women whose bodies were found in 1992, roughly 400 miles apart, are referred to as Bitter Creek Betty and I-90 Jane Doe. Their cause of death was also manual strangulation. By May, they had enough evidence to arrest Clark and did so without incident.
Yeah.
Somebody really wanted to get him.
Well, I think just because there's 3 cases over different states and they're all cold, like, I would want that too for other people. Like,
yeah, and I don't mean to sound like callous, but the fact that there were 3 victims with evidence, like with DNA evidence, the chances of something coming about are way higher than with just one victim.
Yeah. One case of interest is the 1992 death of Tammy Jo Zawicki.
That's what I would say.
She was 21. She was an Iowa college student who was last seen after her car broke down on an Illinois highway. A white man who was driving a semi-tractor trailer was seen near her vehicle. Her body was found in rural Missouri, stabbed to death. Another is in 1992, the killing of Rhonda Knutson? 22, a truck stop convenience store clerk in northern Iowa who was bludgeoned to death during an overnight shift. Investigators have released sketches of the 2 men that were in the store, including one of the trucker. Baldwin lived in Nashua at the time, and Baldwin's name also surfaced during a 1992 homicide investigation in Iowa. His ex-wife actually told police that he once bragged about killing a girl out west by strangulation and then throwing her out of his truck.
Oh my gosh.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, terrible.
And when you look at him, you can just tell.
Like, he's got the eyes and, like, that empty, cold, like...
Just ugly.
Yeah.
Just his ugliness, his ugly soul.
Just, like, screams.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to look at it again. Like, you see it and you don't want to look again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hope that they don't make eye contact with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, like, even if it's a photo, like, you feel like they can see you. Yeah.
They're watching you. Oh, it's just, no.
Clark Perry Baldwin had kept to himself, according to neighbors. He had gotten too old to commit murder anymore. He was described as the mean old man in his apartment building, and none of his neighbors ever remembered him speaking. He was convicted of at least 3 counts of murder, and now police are looking into other crimes he may have committed. He was a truck driver for decades who traveled to all 48 states in the lower states, I guess is what you call them.
The lower 48.
He also did hauls to Mexico and Canada. Luckily, he sits in a Tennessee prison, and hopefully other states' cold case units will be able to bring closure to the families of Clark Baldwin's victims.
Yeah.
What an
He's just
animal.
bad. He's just gross. Like,
I'm curious to know maybe why he went from strangulation to stabbing.
Yeah.
Like, was it the thrill of strangulation and then you got bored with that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, or was it, you know, I feel like sometimes, like, anger plays a role, and, like, maybe being angry from, like, strangulation not serving him anymore, and he's, like, angry about it. I don't know, but
that makes a lot of sense. Like, because you always hear about once you've done it once, you need more and more and more to continue the, like, high of it.
To get the same high. Yep.
So I bet that's what it was, because strangulation's pretty clean. It takes a long time, but it's pretty clean. And then once he couldn't enjoy that anymore, he moved on to, like, other ways to kill.
Yuck.
So gross.
Well, this one's sad.
I know. I feel like this is like an episode of SVU. Like, I could see this being an episode.
1,000%. Yes. Yep. Me too.
But he's in jail. And I think it's really cool that all of this came to, like, a close in 2020. Like, so recently.
Yep.
You know.
People did their jobs.
People did their jobs. And
for a long time did their jobs.
Yes, for a long time. And it's just so crazy.
It is crazy. The world we live in is nuts.
Yeah, it really is.
Do you ever think about, like, if you've ever, like, been in the same room or, like, passed by
1,000%.
So, like,
a murderer?
Yeah, or a rapist, or, like, anything. You know, like, I think about it too. I'm like, I wonder if there's a murderer in here.
Sometimes I'll walk past people and be like, that guy murdered somebody.
Yes, like the energy is just off. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Absolutely.
Stay vigilant.
Yep, for sure.
It's a crazy world out there. All right, well, that is it for this episode of the Expired Podcast. You can listen to us wherever you download podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube. Make sure you leave a comment, subscribe. Follow us at Expired Podcast, and all of those links will be below. Also,
leave us a review.
Yes, leave us a review. You can use the promo code EXPIRED at ttmlifestyle.com. Love ttmlifestyle.com. We have new stuff out just in time for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, thanks.
I love the new stuff. So use the promo code EXPIRED at checkout, ttmlifestyle.com. That will be in the description box below.
Yep, and leave reviews. We like criticism, but if you're going to be an asshole, please be a funny one.
Keep your pistol in your pants.
And take care of each other.
This is the Expired Podcast.
Bye.